I'm Raymond. You're watching RPAD TV, and tonight we're talking about The Boys Season 4. And to help me do that, I have my boys. Up on the top left is Mac Marshall. What's going on, Mac?
Nothing. I'm literally here just for this. I've been doing nothing all day. I was excited to do this. So,
I'm excited you're here. I've heard you've been like spelunking in lava caves or something.
yeah, we did a vacation up in Oregon, which I've never been to. I've flown over a few times, but never actually stopped along the way. So got to do a whole a week of just hiking and river rafting and cave spelunking, I guess if you would want to call it that.
That was always one of my favorite words, spelunking.
Yeah.
Is it
you feel kind of
though?
dirty using it, but but it's still fine.
I want to spelunk you.
Yeah, let's go spelunking. And that's if somebody doesn't know, they're like, you know what, screw you.
Yeah. Or maybe they confuse that you're playing that video game.
Spelunker, yeah. Yeah, a classic. So you got in touch with nature, and
yeah, everybody gets up. It was my in-laws' 50-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow!
The whole that side of the family got to go hang out for a week together.
Very cool. And then up on the top right, we have Carlos, who's in his virtual arcade there. What's going on, man?
Hey, nothing much here. Just trying to get back into getting the channel back up and going. We just did WrestleMania 29 revisit last week. 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And now this Saturday we're gonna do WrestleMania 30.
That's right.
We will have a guest who has joined us for all the monumental WrestleManias, whether it was the first one, the 10th one, the 20th one, and now the 30th one, which would be Raymond.
That's right. It's me. It's RMP. Mac left us. So
well,
that's new. He will hop on when he hops on.
Okay.
So I want to talk about The Boys Season 4. There was a bunch of interesting things here. We have some new characters. We have some new happenings. Mac is back. Oh, no worries.
Wasn't that a McDonald's commercial? Mac is back?
I think it was. Yes, the Mac is back.
Yes.
Oh wait, or was that the that was a wrestler, wasn't it?
I think
the Mac.
I think both.
Yeah, we'll go with both.
I think I've been teased my whole life with every McDonald's, Mac, any reference, so they all blur together at this point. I can't specifically say which one was which, but I never took offense to it. I always found it entertaining.
I do have a friend that wrestles named Willie Mac, very cool guy. So he is the Mac Daddy. I guess both of you are the Mac Daddies in my life.
Yes. Ooh. In many ways.
So The Boys Season 4, a lot of the things that we loved, some new characters, some new happenings, and a noticeable tonal shift. Let's start off with a thread size review of Season 4. Mac, why don't you kick things off?
Of Season 4, I thought it was great. I always love coming back to do these particular ones with you guys, because you guys read the comics or have read the comics and know far more than I do, and I'm always kind of just coasting by on what's going on in the show and the very kind of few pieces I glean from reading around it. But I think Season 4 was fun. I think it kind of ended on where you wanted it to end. It was a good place of leaving off, knowing there's one more season left. Going back to the answering enough questions with leaving a few more open. That's just enough to get you to go into the next season.
I like it. How about you, Carlos?
If you enjoy seeing bodies hit the floor, seeing lots of blood, seeing lots of gore, if you like seeing violent things, then this was the show for you, because there was not a single episode where it wasn't anything like getting chopped off, getting split in half, getting eye burned with laser lights or laser eyes and everything. So if you're a fan of that type of genre of viewing television shows or movies, yes, watch the show. But besides all that, you still had a very interesting plot line
Yeah.
that was going throughout the whole thing. So I totally enjoy it. And if you love comics and you love superheroes, and I feel like this is a very great show because it could show you like what could happen if they were actually real life people. Like, because in the end, that's what they're gonna be. They're gonna be acting like the way we are, only with
Right.
superpowers.
Right. I'm going to go with The Boys season 4 is more of what you love of The Boys, but it goes into a different direction that may alienate some of the people that enjoyed the previous seasons. And we're going to discuss that later, but let's stick with something purely positive. Carlos, what did you like best? What aspect of season 4 did you like best?
I like that we got to know more of the side characters. We brought this up with, like our review or kind of a summary of what we thought about episodes 1, 2, and 3. So
Right.
it wasn't like Butcher and the boys versus Homelander. We got to see
Right.
more of that. We got growth from Kimiko, Frenchie, and we also got growth from Huey after dealing with the issues that he ended up having with his father passing away. And we got more into Homelander besides the whole, oh, I just want to do whatever I want because I never got my way because I was a lab experiment my whole life. We
Right.
got to see what actually happened to him.
Right.
So just seeing all of that, and then them also trying to stop the plot of Homelander trying to take over the United States through the executive branch. That was very interesting to me.
How about you, Mac? What aspects of season 4 stood out for you?
Flying farm animals.
For sure.
That stood out. My wife, when I saw it, laughed about that. I think, another one, I read this somewhere like a few weeks back and it totally just makes sense. But like Huey just gets the shittiest deal every fucking time. Like he hasn't had like a really solid, like every time he feels like you feel like Huey's doing great, it's something really awful.
And then, bang, yeah.
Like, man, the guy can't get a break. But yeah, I think like a lot. I think and then a lot of just the deliberately, not deliberately, mirroring a lot of contemporary things happening in the world right now. That always makes it more interesting, in like a little cathartic way, I guess. And then, but yeah, it's I just the seeing some of the characters without I don't know if we're getting into spoiler territory, I guess, but like seeing some of the characters kind of flip scripts and turn. I'm very excited about a couple things in particular. Specifically, what happens to Ashley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that was just like, oh no. Like I remember my wife was like, she bald because her hair fell off. I was like, no, she's been pulling her hair out for like 4 seasons. She's like, oh yeah, that's right. And I was like, oh, so whatever she turns into, I'm excited about.
I have a theory about that, but my theories are like a good baseball batting average. So
like you and I coming up with theories. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my favorite aspect of the show actually touches on something you said on how it mirrors the events of today.
Yeah.
More than any other season of The Boys, there were several situations and moments that made me feel uncomfortable. But in that way that good art makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it just got more so as the season goes on. And it got to the point where, there's one at one of the parties, when you had all the rich and powerful people talking about, all these social issues are for the stupid people while we're controlling the power and money. I'm like, oh, that's maybe too close to reality, but very true.
Close to home.
Yeah. And then the episode with the assassination happened the week of the assassination attempt on President Trump. And they actually renamed the episode. The original title was Assassination Run, which is from the comics, but they felt like they couldn't do it that week. So it was just The Boys season 4 finale.
And they even put a front end on it too, like a warning, like some of the scenes. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is probably filmed a long time ago. But
Yeah.
okay, like I get it, and that might be just again catering to people that don't know any better.
Yes. And you have to do that these days, unfortunately, because people
Yeah.
like look at these, leftist libtards making an assassination show the same week.
How dare they?
Yeah. Like, yes, that's exactly what happened. They put all this together, waited. But yeah, that was a weird one. How about let's talk about the characters. Mac, which characters went on your favorite journey? Who interested you the most for the good guys? Let's start there.
I'm glad they pulled it around with what is it? Kimiko and Frenchie. Like, I'm glad they kind of got their shit resolved and behind them. And then, again, of course, like, that anytime something good happens, something bad happens. So the ending of that was a little like, makes you very curious. Like I said, I think in terms of characters, I think Ashley Barrett, still one of my favorites. She does just as great of a job playing like I think we talked about this before, like the frazzled, high ranking with no authority, like, VP level person. She just is great. And I love like watching her react to like just being kind of bossed around by whether it's Homelander or any of them. And then similarly, the other one, I hate this character. I hate Firecracker. Like, she just is everything that deliberately is wrong with a lot of America. But like,
hold on for that. Let's stick with the good guys first. And then we'll go to the baddies next.
Okay. Well, then I guess I'm still lumping in Ashley with the good guys because she is.
Yeah, she's a bystander.
Yeah. Would we consider A-Train a good guy now?
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
I can go either way with that. Yeah.
And he's going to have some sort of a role in season 5, right? So I think that's another one that like it's cool to see him like flip, and kind of curious to see where those newly kind of flipped like people go, and whether that also includes the son, right? Like if that includes Ryan, like what's Ryan going to do now? Right. I think those are interesting I think those are like some of the bigger questions that you kind of want closure on as you get into season 5.
Absolutely. How about for you, Carlos? Who on the good side stood out for you?
Well, definitely Kimiko, because she finally got to accept her feelings for Frenchie.
Yeah.
Romantic feelings. She wanted to find the way to accept it and find ways to express her emotions for him and feelings for him. And then at the end, she eventually actually got over that trauma. And like you said, she actually got to talk, and she yelled out as they got separated.
Yeah.
At the end. So that's going to be a very interesting thing now.
And it's funny when I see interviews with the actor, I'm like, she can speak? What is this?
Yeah. And then it's one of those things, the thing I mentioned at the beginning with Huey, finally being able to like let go of not only his father passing away, like after like fighting with his mom about having the DNR and how she was the one that was gonna decide when to pull the plug, but
right.
Also,
and even dealing with the abandonment issues with his mom, I thought that was a good thing.
Thank you. And then also how he forgave A-Train when he told A-Train to give him the V. Yeah. And he still was he was hesitant to take the V, but he still took it. And then A-Train was like not hearing the forgiveness right away. So A-Train was like, so you're not going to forgive me? And then Huey actually said, no, you know what? I forgive you, Yeah. And then, so that was something that he held down for, what's the time frame? Because I know we've gone 3 seasons before that. Right. So is it like a year and a half or 2 years in their timeline?
It must be something like that. I think so. Yeah.
So to go just that set amount of time and being able to turn around. I mean, Huey's life has turned around because now he's with Starlight, but
right,
just to be able to to let go of that hatred he had for A-Train and all of the Supes at that time, was a big step for him.
And it was nice to show he started out as the purest character in season 1, and even though all these messed up things have happened to him, I love that he's still that guy.
Not quite as screwed up as everybody else.
Yeah, and he has
Yeah.
every right to. He should be screwed up.
Yeah.
But he's still deep down a really good guy.
I wonder if he would have forgiven him if he would have given him the V after he went as the web weaver into that
Oh.
party.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Should we pour one out for Web Weaver? I think he's dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is done. For the heroes, for me, I really enjoyed Mother's Milk. He was so much more interesting to me this season than the previous 3 combined, where he was more of a background and support character. But I really loved him taking leadership of the boys.
Mm-hmm.
I loved his conflict of having a chance to go back to his family after the stepdad gets killed, and him rejecting that chance because he wants to.
Well, because he knows all roads lead to the same end for him, right?
Exactly. Like he wants to try, as impossible as it may seem, to try to make the world a better place for his ex-wife and his kids. So
Yeah.
and I love these things like with his panic attacks and
his hand always
thing,
like
yeah. So I love that. It really made me more interested in that character.
Fun fact, totally unrelated. So I've also in the background been playing the Callisto Protocol.
Oh, okay.
And I believe the actress who plays Kimiko, what's her name?
Karen Fukuhara.
I think she's the model for the.
Is she
one of the female characters? And like I'm like 99.9999% sure because I played it a long time ago and I put it on the shelf and I started playing it again just recently and I was like, it's the same girl. So just need to see that in the background too, doing something else.
By the way, I love drunk Kimiko. She is a fantastic drunk, very entertaining and mostly harmless, even though she can kill most people, So I hope that we see more of her in the future. Now, of course, we have some new bad guys and all the bad guys we've come to hate. Carlos, which of the bad guys had the most interesting storyline for you in season 4?
Homelander, which is the obvious one, just because we still got to see, his upbringing and pretty much the reason why he's the way he is. The other one, even though like he started off as a villain, A-Train, because there was some good in him, and it was being able to finally show up in here. Like, yeah, sometimes you want to root for the villain, but you, as much as like he's been an asshole for the past 3 seasons, this was like, well, it was kind of like hinted at once he got that, that whole thing that
is
happened.
he fully redeemed in your mind? Like,
I think so, because
why for you?
Yeah, I think so. Like,
not for me. I think
he's got one or 2 more good deeds to do.
Yeah, for me, he's like 80% of the way there.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll talk about my theory about that, but I think he's redeemed, as far as this season is concerned. But other than that, I think, those are my 2 ones that I think I like the storylines. So
yeah, far. With both of you guys on A-Train, I really loved his journey. I love that moment where he brings MM to the hospital and the kid smiles at him and he's like, whoa.
That's his flip,
Yeah, this is what it's like to be an actual hero, an actual good guy, not this, corporate bullshit good guy that Vought has made him. Yeah, so, and the other one, and this sounds weird, but I'm going to go with Deep because he's a total piece of shit in season 1.
Yep.
And you have moments where like, does he have some good qualities? Will he turn? But no, he cements himself as a total piece of shit in season 4.
Like that was one of my comments too. It's like, this is the first time we've seen the Deep like just be a bad guy. Like just a pure bad guy, like, right, like he's just remorseless, like he just kills, like, he's playing with people's emotions and then killing them. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, I mean, he commits sexual assault in season 1,
Sure, I mean,
but I guess killing.
not a good guy out of the gates.
It was very Homelander, like for him to be like fishing for a
like,
comic.
yeah, exactly. Like you thought that he was always going to be like forced to doing everything by kind of like the A-Train story, right? Like you thought that he's just, and then he just leaned into it. Like A-Train's like, no, I'm going to go the other direction, and Deep is like, bro, this is the thing. So it was interesting.
So Zach Morris was here, and he is super bummed that Vought canceled training A-Train for the write-offs. Yes, that would have been Will Ferrell's Oscar moment. But I do love that they took a jab at Zaslav for canceling Batgirl. I will always hate him for that. He might be 4th on my CEOs I hate the most list. You'll never guess who number 1 is, and it is probably not who you think. I'll give you guys a guess real quick.
I'm just gonna say I'm totally in the dark. I got nobody. Who does Raymond hate?
Bobby?
No, I actually like him when I've interacted with him personally. He's pleasant. He's a foodie. He's a fat guy. So, I'm like, I empathize with this rich asshole. I'm not going to ask Mac about it because he used to work at his company, but
we'll leave him out of it. We'll say it offline just to be safe.
Yeah. No, it's Jeff Smizek, former CEO of United Airlines, who I used to love flying United. It was such a pleasant experience. And then Jeff Smizek introduced changes we think you'll like, and everyone hated all of them.
Right there, 0 wins on that.
Yes. He increased corporate profits, but he also made flying much less pleasant than it used to be. And if Jeff Smizek got trapped in a zoo exhibit with a bunch of male horny silverback gorillas, that would make me very happy.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Oh, that's funny.
So Mac, let's go back to the villains.
Villains. Firecracker. I think she's so hateable that I'm really enjoying her not feeling well. And I'm curious, like, is there more, again, you guys know usually more than I do. Is there anything more to Firecracker at this point being ill?
Well, because this is all new. If I'm remembering correctly, wasn't Firecracker male in the comics, Carlos?
Yeah, most of them were male. Just like Stormfront was a male.
Stormfront also.
Victoria is a male. And so I like some of the gender flips they've made because
I didn't know that. Okay.
The issues that they made Homelander have in the show is pretty much because of the women abandonment issues.
So the whole breastfeeding thing. So what is she just? I guess they would say that she was just having side effects from the hormone that she's taking to produce breast milk. So
she's doing that on purpose.
That's just
she found out.
Funny. Like I just think that whoever came up with that is great. Like that's really good.
My favorite part is when he's like, she's coughing because she's almost I can't just go further down. So
you're fucking disgusting. Get that move down.
But please pour out another bottle for me.
I don't know. The one moment that might be my favorite of this season is Anthony Starr's facial expression when he gets hit by that first blast of breast milk, and he's surprised and excited and a bit horny.
He just genuinely deserves so many awards for. I mean, can anybody speak as well as he can just with his facial expressions?
No,
right? He's so good at communicating someone through that. It's fantastic.
I mean,
the other real quick character that I don't know what to think about is Sister Sage. I
love Sage
from being kind of like a boring character to me to her hey, I just wanted to see if I could. So
right, she went from a boring character to a bored character who is so intelligent that pretty much the world bores her. And
I thought that was weird. But again, is there a question for the audience here? Is there more to her kind of, that goes into season 5? Was she really pulling the kind of strings behind everything secretly?
Right. I think it brings up an interesting thing, maybe around episode 5 or so, where she first gets kicked out after her brain damaged performance at the party.
That was funny.
So I was thinking, wow, are they going to have Sister Sage turn? But now I'm thinking more Firecracker is going to turn in season 5.
Mhm.
Just guessing.
Yeah.
How about you guys? What did you make of Firecracker and Sage, the new girls, Carlos?
I love Sister Stage. I think when I came on here for the first 3 episodes, I compared her to Ozymandias from Watchmen.
Oh yeah.
So just having like, you thought she was written off after, like you said, she had that meltdown after the Web Weaver house incident episode, which was 5. So it's like now she gets kicked out, and you think that it's all over for her. Like you said, you think she's gonna turn back, and then at the end she ends up going. She's like, you know what? This all went according to my plan. You need me. What are you talking about? We're going for phase 2.
So is she still like, again, like to me, like, is she still kind of I'm with Homelander going into season 5, or is she kind of still
I think she's just working her own plan.
Yeah. I think she's always been on her own side, and she's just pretty indifferent to everything else. I mean, I don't think she really respects Homelander. She understands that he's powerful and she could kill him like that, but I think she's one of those people that thinks everyone around them is an idiot, and in her case, she's correct. So Zach Morris had a comment here. I like that Sage only got lobotomized by Deep and Black Noir. Now, I thought that Black Noir didn't lobotomize her and was just...
that's what he meant.
Oh, and not Black Noir. Yeah. I see. I read that wrong. My bad. Yeah. Yes, I like that too, because it adds to Deep's pathetic
character development, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. It's hilarious because she would compliment him, but then she'd be like, you know what, you need to lobotomize me before you get into me.
Poor Deep.
Poor Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Ambrosia.
Yes. That's who we should. That's what my tagline should have been. Remember Ambrosia. That would have been great. Now, I do want to talk more about fight scenes and all that good stuff. But first, guys, if you're watching this, please give a thumbs up, like, and all that. If you'd really like to support the site, we have some RPAD TV merch available on Amazon.com, in international stores even. I had a friend from Amazon Japan order a shirt. So we have t-shirts, hoodies, phone cases, pop sockets, bags. I think we have a throw pillow and more. But if you want direct links to all of them, hit up rpad.tv/merch. Now, let me find the right Chiron so we can get back to the show. Aha, there it is. Merch break. So we talked about the new characters. Now, we had a lot of crazy fight scenes. We mentioned a few of them. Mac, I think I know which one was your favorite, but why don't you tell us?
No. Now I want I want to hear what you think. The one that stood out to me was, I think it was at the end.
Oh,
with the guy with the giant penis. made a reappearance. And who did he take out at the end? He was
Mother's Milk.
That's the third time he's hit him
with
his Mother's Milk.
Yeah. So I thought that was hilarious. And again, those last kind of, they weren't the goriest of the scenes, but I thought those were like the most well done. And of course, you're curious as to what's going to happen with Frenchie, since she whispered sweet nothings in his ear and gets him walking away. But I think that fight scene was just getting all of them rounded up at the end was good. And then obviously there's Butcher and his, chest tentacle monster thing, yes. Whatever that is now.
That's his tumor.
Yes, his live tumor.
Yeah. Wow. I was totally guessing you would have went with Vought Farms.
Well, I think, for the season, yeah, the farm thing just still like, that was funny. But I think I thought we were talking like that the last episode.
I mean, that was a great scene, especially I love the Nirvana music in that ending scene too.
Yeah.
How about you, Carlos? Which fight scene was your favorite?
I have 3 of them.
Okay.
So was it episode 3 when they go to VotCon and then they have like that long sequence?
Was that I think it was 2, and then 3 was Vought on Ice.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole the record for me.
But yeah, episode 2 when they go to VotCon and they confront the multiple Splinter and Sister Sage and everybody, because it's like a long sequence.
Yeah.
And then it goes into a bat mitzvah. And I just love saying bat mitzvah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the second one I would say would be the one with the first episode when they're trying to take out Newman, and then they end up finding Zoe instead, and then they find out
he
she
bites
has
off
spit in her mouth.
Yeah.
And then the third one would be the bunker.
Okay. Yeah,
Just because go ahead.
No, that I thought that was a really well done scene, and
Yeah.
I'm partial to hallway fights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think those were my 3 favorite ones.
And so Zach Morris likes the showdown between. Oh, he didn't like the showdown between Starlight and Cindy. He wanted to see more Cindy.
Cindy was the shifter.
Is that who you meant, Zach?
Because I don't think we ever got a name on the shifter.
I will say this though too, while we're trying to get that name, but what's her name? Victoria Newman. Like, with as much hope as I had in her power, right? Like, she died much quicker than I thought somebody of her caliber would leave the show.
Right, but yeah, I don't think they communicated that well.
Oh.
Because she's supposed to be really super invulnerable. I mean, Homelander shot her with the eye beams in the face, and nothing happened.
Nothing. And then, but what's his, like, Billy just
his
ripped
tumor. Yeah, they didn't convey how powerful his tumor is. So he's talking about the girl from Gen V.
The one at the end of the season when they're getting kidnapped and she's like manipulating something.
Right, but she's from an earlier season.
Season 2, I think.
Yeah, from the foster home or Red River.
Where they're going into Red River.
Yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Actually, that would have been, I don't know. Because at that time, Zach, I think Starlight just got her powers back. And apparently she can fly really well now. She suck at it. But
she doesn't need all that electricity to suck up all of that before she flies.
That's right. So I don't know, maybe with that new power level that she hit, that would have been a good fight. But before that, I think Cindy just wrecks her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He just wants to know what's up with Cindy, as do we all. Although I love Maddie Phillips. I think I like looking at her. She's just gorgeous. So my favorite fight scene was Vought on Ice, because ice capades in general is hilarious. Having superhero ice capades is funny, and that song "Let's Put the Christ Back in Christmas." I thought that was hilarious.
Just top it off with all of the gore.
All the gore. I mean, I don't think people that aren't familiar with ice skating or hockey don't realize how sharp those blades really are. So I love that they showed that in Vought on Ice.
Yeah.
And then I loved Homelander just indiscriminately lasering the ceiling trying to kill Yui. I thought that was really well done and also kind of hilarious.
I did have an issue with that.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't remember if we brought it up, but why wasn't Homelander able to just see through the vents and just shoot him accurately?
Because it was lined with something. Because you know how Superman can't see through lead?
Yeah.
There's one thing that Homelander can't see through.
Man, what a downer! All that power and you can't see through fucking aluminum.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, because they also they were trying to hide something from Homelander, and they put it in a chest with that metal. I forget which metal it was, but it was supposed
Homelandium.
No, it's some like crap metal. It's not even a good one. Yeah. But
Zinc.
Zinc. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Zach Morris. Very appreciated. Dig the new icon. Nice. Yeah, I remember it being some crap metal.
Okay.
So it's funny. In downtown Henderson, there's an area called Water Street. Wait, I got to hit the tangent banner. And there used to be a tin mine and zinc mine there. So a bunch of the streets are named like Zinc Street, Lead Street, whatever. And I always turn on zinc for some reason. I'm like, zinc is like my 5th favorite metal. I'm going down
the street because
Yeah.
it can help me in life somehow.
Yeah. And on another side note, the high school in Henderson, the public high school, was named after the basic tin mines. So it just says basic high school, which just looks like
That'd be great to go there.
I don't know. Like, well, you're not going to be any good. You're going to basic high school.
Just
When does it level up?
Yeah. Oh, I think the cheerleaders should be like the basic bitches. That'd be funny. Well, Zach Morris likes that name. I don't know, Zach Morris. It's no Bayside High. That's for sure. Now, I do want to talk about the tonal shift in season 4, which we touched upon earlier. A few of us did, but more than the first 3 seasons, this was more heavy-handed with the social and political commentary.
Right.
And it turned off some fans who apparently didn't realize they were being mocked for 3 seasons. Okay, sure. So it turned off some of the audience. It did change the tone. It made it more topical, but maybe less appealing to some viewers. I mean, Mac, how did you react to the changes? Did it affect your enjoyment at all?
It didn't really affect my enjoyment per se, but there is that air of like, this is too real and they know what they're doing, right? Like none of it is obviously like an accident in the way that it's written or the things that it's reflecting. But I think as like everything politically continues to kind of approach the boiling point that we're heading towards for like November, I feel like they're being like the writers and the directors, like I think they're being just heavier handed with like kind of putting things in perspective but doing it in like the context of the show. But it's so kind of apparent and out there that like it's I think before maybe like you could have arguably or justifiably been like, oh man, I didn't pick that up. But like now, like if there's no way to not pick up on like the duality, like what's happening in the show and what's happening in real life.
Or we should hope. I'm sure there are some viewers out there that still don't get the joke, but
right.
Sure. How about you, Carlos? Did you like the tonal shift, dislike it, or was it just there?
I think it was just fine. Like, is it something that I would get offended by? No, because I really have the mental capacity to separate what's real and what isn't, and what's satire and what isn't.
Right, like you can separate.
Yeah, I mean, but it's some things. It's this show to be successful or to have some type of stakes, it needed some type of like catalyst, kind of bad guy. Like it needed some type of something. Like we mentioned, the comics had the aftermath of 9/11.
Right.
So what other thing have we had after that would make it relatable? And this is about as close as we are coming to right now, if you think about it.
Oh, very much so.
That was an attack on America's soil,
right?
This country's never experienced in the 260 years of its existence. And now we might have something that might affect the very fabric of our society, the government. So we always like to have like these movies and like these things where it's the end of the world, it's civil war, we gotta fight aliens. And this show is pretty much like they plotted it to be based on reality, and that's like the closest thing that we have that would be able to like challenge superheroes. Like, what if the superheroes are evil and they're trying to bring down our government and enslave us? Like something that's probably happening now with politicians.
Yeah, like they say art mimics life or art reflects life, and that absolutely applies to this season. And I enjoyed, and I'm of two minds of this. On one hand, I really enjoyed how uncomfortable some of it made me, and how eerily close it got to what's actually happening now. And on the other hand, being petty, I'm pretty much, I'm very liberal. I grew up in New York, spent a lot of my adult life in California, so I'm a hippie, and I'm not going to try to hide that. So I like that some of the things that they make fun of, I like that they're making fun of them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That entertains me. Like so much like making fun of Fox News, the whole character of Firecracker, even, I love that it mocks that. So,
Yeah. And if it offends you that they're making fun of you, well,
apparently the answer is to review bomb it, because
well, obviously, you're doing something right, because it's like, you don't like the way you look in the mirror, then maybe look at what you're doing.
Are you starting with the man in the mirror like Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Now there's a lot, as Mac mentioned, the ending of the finale there. It wrapped up a few things and asked a ton of questions about
So
season.
good ones too, and and hopefully with enough episodes in a season 5 to kind of like put all those nails in place.
Right. I mean, Mac, what do you definitely want to see resolved in season 5?
Well, okay, so I got a couple things. One, there's been a couple stories I've seen about a certain character who's returning in season 5, who basically that person's presence kind of indicates.
We're beyond spoilers.
Which I don't know. I don't even remember, but it was like Mr. Big or something. I forget who it was.
Mr. Big? What is this, Sex and the City?
No, it's not that. But it was some character that had a name like that. I'd have to go dig it up. But it basically said him coming back for season 5 is kind of a clear indicator about what's going to happen to Butcher at the end of in season 5. So I think just the clarity on what is going to happen with Butcher. Does he become cancer hero? What is that end for him?
So this is interesting. I will spoil this because they're not doing this ending at all, because they've branched off too far from that. But the way it ends in The Boys is that Butcher breaks bad and ends up killing all of the boys except Yui, because he has this radio signal that it'll launch a signal that will destroy all the soups, and he goes to the top of the Empire State Building to unleash it.
Okay.
He kills all the boys, but Yui talks him down because he always reminded Billy of his younger brother.
Right.
That was their attachment. So, okay. I mean, they're obviously not doing that in this season or for season 5, but I think he has to be a bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big one. I don't know what to do with him in my head at this point, because he's Butcher's now become hateable and lovable in the same, right? He's just you don't know what episode what Butcher you're going to get in what episode, basically. So that's kind of a fun thing as well. And then seeing why do they show Soldier Boy again at the end? How is he still alive? I don't even remember. How did he die last time? Did he blow up? How is so that was a big one for me, is why is he back? Same as we talked about before, what's Sister Sage, what role is she going to play heading into season 5? There's just too many good open questions. What's going to happen to Homelander? What's going to happen with Homelander and A-Train? Is A-Train does he live? Does he die? Who knows? I think those are the fun questions in my head that I want to see answered. And
so Zach Morris had a question. What do you think Homelander is going to do about Soldier Boy? Any takes on that? Carlos, you first.
I think he's gonna pretty much use him to do his bidding. We know that if he goes nuclear, whatever he does, he obviously survives the blast, but he also takes away powers.
Right.
So if there's any soups that need to be contained or anything like that, he can just do that.
So Soldier Boy blows up, he takes away Soup's powers when he does it.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
I wonder if that will be the substitute for the radio signal. Nah, I don't think they're gonna.
No,
Yeah.
no,
But
I
what do you
think
think? I mean, what do you, again? You guys are much more plugged into seeing, having read the comics. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
I have no idea, and I love that. That's what makes it exciting for me.
yeah. Just speculating on this is like I think Homelander. I think the whole thing is the whole MacGuffin, like the whole thing for the last season where we thought it was going to be this season is the virus.
Right.
So I think the season ends, or the series might end, where the virus still gets out, but it doesn't like fully take out everybody. I like to imagine like a House of M type of thing, only
Right.
with soups,
Mm.
and only a certain amount of soups remain.
What
And
was it?
those are-
180 whatever mutants survived that?
Yeah, I think it was around that number. It's been so long since I read that book, but it was like a small amount, and we like I think it's for if they even plan on making anything afterwards, you would need to still have a little bit of soups, but you can't have too many. So I think that's how it would end, but it would end like Butcher still gets rid of Homelander, and maybe Ryan stays alive with a little bit of the few good soups that are still in the
Ooh.
Ryan also turned kind of to be a, he killed his essentially grandma, if you want to call her that, or
Well, I
whatever.
think Ryan still has something there because if he stays around Homelander, he still sees how much of an asshole he is to him.
Right.
So eventually, that's he still loves his family, even Butcher, but because it wasn't Butcher's fault that he got talked into, or like Butcher was trying to like say, no, you know what, you make your own decision, you be your own man. If you're telling me that you feel safe being with Homelander, then go back with him. And there was only
Mallory.
yeah, Mallory that wanted to keep him in there, and
Mm.
Butcher tried to stop him. So he knows Ryan knows it's not Butcher's fault. So
Right. So that's another one that falls under the category of I have no idea where they're going to go with this. Like Soldier
By the
Boy
way,
with Ryan, with A-Train even, because
Mhm.
that guy should die in terms of how stories function. Like you expect Homelander to kill him, but I don't know if these writers will. I'm not positive
Yeah.
they
I
will.
think he gets that heroic death.
The
Wait.
character that I was trying to remember, not Mr. Big, it was the Legend.
Ah,
Oh, that was
This guy
Paul
returning-
Reiser.
Yeah, it says the Legend returning in season 5 is a key indicator about Butcher's fate.
oh,
And that does nothing for me because I barely remember the Legend from earlier in the show to even what impact he would have through the comics on the character as well.
Well, he would know how to beat Homelander, because isn't that the whole thing, that they don't know how to beat him without the virus?
Interesting.
very-
So that was the one that I was trying to like. It was getting me like thinking like, I wonder what he's gonna do and like what this character, like why he matters to Butcher's
But that would be MacGuffin for the boys to stop Butcher from unleashing the virus.
And then the other thing too, and I saw is like, why not just kill or maim or lock Frenchie away? Why did Kate? Like, why did she whisper into his ear and kind of possess him? Because clearly they need him for something. So.
Oh, for the virus engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. How about on a personal level? How do you want their stories to end up? Do you hope, like Yui gets his happily ever after, MM goes back to his family?
I would like those storylines to have happy endings for like the boys, just because of all the bullshit they've been through this past 4 to 5 seasons. But I understand that there can't be too many happy endings, and there's got to be some sacrifices. And I think it might come with Mother's Milk, one of them, just because that's the tragedy I think that's being written for him. Like,
I feel like
he does so much for his family to stop them from, getting hurt or having to suffer anything on the hands of Soup. So if he doesn't end up getting hurt, it might be someone in his family. You know,
Yeah.
who needs that tragedy.
Well, it was already the stepfather, so technically there was already something.
That was only a tragedy for his ex-wife.
Yeah. I think like if you took out Huey, I think people would be bummed, right? I think like he's just genuinely like the most likable character in the show, probably because he's
Oh yeah.
most relatable, you know. But Butcher, like again, you know, going back to the like Butcher's already crossed over in my opinion. Like he's gonna be hard to, and again now knowing what we all know, but like you know, I feel like his end is coming.
Yep.
Annie, I don't know, like what happens to Annie, and at this point, what happens to Frenchie and Kimiko? Like, are they gonna be somehow reunited? Like that's one that like if I had hope for something, I would love like for Kimiko to like rescue Frenchie somehow
And learn a second word. No.
and talk to him.
No.
Right. But again, I feel like to write that appropriately, whatever her next words were might be her final word kind of thing or something like that, just to I don't know, just to make it emotionally dramatic.
I think in the comics, I think her final words were before they go off to their big last fight, like she says, "I hate mean people," or something simple, but you know,
But meaningful.
yeah. JC says soups pose too much risk. Yes, it's like the Supreme Court giving a president unlimited power as if he were Emperor Palpatine.
They must sign the Sokovia Accords.
That's so funny. Most of them have hurt innocent bystanders, collateral damage. Yes, also. I don't know, occupational hazard. And Zach Morris had another question. With the changes from the show, do you think Homelander dies at the end of next season?
Yeah, I think him and Butcher have to die.
Yeah. What do
Is
you
it going to
think?
be like a terrible, they kill each other at the same time kind of thing?
Oh,
yeah.
That could be cool.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I think what happens
Homelander is taking out Butcher
to
stop everything from happening.
Do you think is it Homelander, or do you think Butcher's tumor does it to Homelander?
I think it's the giant penis.
Yeah, it's gonna be Butcher's.
I think that guy comes back and just starts choking people out left and right.
Oh, since we're
can't scoop if you can't breathe.
We're thinking about season 5. You know what I was my other theory that I have is Black Noir is still
that'd be hilarious.
Still a clone of Homelander. But like they did, like, you know how we had the Superman Earth 23 was African American, and they went with this type of version. But so he's still a clone, and that's why he can still fly and do all those things
and have narcolepsy.
Yeah, like, folks can't be perfect. What do you want?
Oh, Ryan, yeah, we keep forgetting about Ryan.
I think Ryan ends up being.
They even set it up. You're the only one that can stop your dad.
That would make sense for him to take it out. I also think he might be the one to talk down Butcher instead of Yui.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just a guess. But yeah, I hope he ends up being good, because it seems like that should be his ultimate fate. And maybe Carlos is right that the virus takes out most, not all soups, and Ryan, maybe some of the other Gen V kids end up being the guys left standing to lead the next generation.
Maybe Frenchie works on a cure.
That removes all of the soup powers, but everybody doesn't die.
Ooh, that's a good one too. I like Zach's theory on this. Homelander kills Butcher.
Yeah.
And it sends Ryan over to the good side.
Yeah.
That could work.
That's some good writing. I guess we also have to see what happens in the next few months as they rewrite the script, because they're getting so close to reality. Interesting. So I don't know. Overall, how does season 4 rank compared to the other seasons to you guys? I mean, for me, it's I just enjoy the whole thing. The season had great moments. Yeah.
Like I think especially with any show that has 3 or more seasons, right? Like by the third or fourth, you're like, okay, what are they going to be doing new or different this time? Is it just more of the same, rinse and repeat? And so far, like this one has really just been consistently fulfilling, like across all 4 and hopefully into the 5th season. So I'm hoping that it just continues to do that, right?
Yeah.
Agreed on all points. How about you, Carlos?
Yeah, I think this is maybe my favorite season.
Really?
Yeah, this one, and then season 1, and like then 2 and 3 follows. Not like saying like 3 wasn't that great, but it did have more like filler episodes, in my opinion.
I agree with that too.
Are we
yeah.
going to see another season of Gen V
Yes.
between?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that will also drive some like story as well.
Yeah,
So
we have to know what happens with the Guardians, well, the ones that got taken out.
Yeah. I think Kimiko gets locked up with them, breaks them out, organizes them, and then that's just a random.
What about like Sam, the one who like captured Kimiko, right? Like, or Kimiko, because he's pretty powerful apparently too, right? So
yeah.
Then,
curious to see what happened. Like, I'm curious to see it both on its own, how they continue to weave Gen V back through like the overall boys narrative, and then also as you get into season 5, how much more crossover of Gen V and the boys you're going to see in that same season.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was pretty light on this one. They showed up in 2 episodes, right? There was one
real quick too, not even for a lot of screen time. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, this happened too, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Let's see. If the virus kills all the soups at the end of The Boys season 6, then they'd have to end Gen V too. Season 5, you mean? Because 5 is the last. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Gen V is going to be interesting because they have to rewrite a lot of it because one of the lead actors died.
Well, he died in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah. So the virus, thinking the virus is not going to work, you may be right. I do like that theory of Ryan having to be the one to take out Homelander. But the virus will, and I like Carlos's theory that the virus will take out a lot, but not all soups. So this is good stuff. You guys should be writers. I like it.
There's one soup that you want us to, like, if they only one soup survives, who's your one soup that makes it through?
What are the criteria?
Just favorite, again, could be your favorite character, favorite power, favorite actor.
In this universe, or just like
just in the boys, like from the characters in the show that we're aware of.
If it involved marriage, it would be Kate. So that would be my pick. Plus, we can get anything we wanted with her mind control powers.
Good one.
That's sugar mommy material right there.
Yeah.
I think I want to see Sam from Gen V survive, only because I love all the Muppet scene.
Oh,
like
you want to go back to Avenue V?
Entire series just like with the Muppets like that, and I would be just as in.
that scene, the Muppet scene in this season of The Boys was so well done. The intro music was just like Mr. Rogers, and then they went into the Sesame Street puppets.
Yeah.
They just need a snuffleupagus to piss people off. How about you, Carlos? Which of the characters would you want to see at the end of the day? And for you guys out there, leave a comment.
I mean, I like what they're doing with Ryan, so I think that would be it. That's why I kind of have that theory that Ryan's still good. They're still good in him, and he's gonna be leading, the new set of 7 of whoever still is still around to be paraded to be as the new saviors and things like that. But
fair enough.
Would Ryan be named Homelander 2 if he becomes a superhero? How does that work?
That's interesting. Maybe he'll be Home Butcher or something. He'll meld their names together. Butchlander.
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 Even better.
That will never work. And this is why I don't write for television. One of several reasons. So that'll wrap it up for our chat on The Boys Season 5. Guys, let us know what you thought of this show. Leave a comment. If you want to catch up with what Carlos and Mac are doing, links to their projects are in the description below. And I'm going to turn this banner off. We have some fun shows. Hope you join us next week, where we're going to be talking about Deadpool versus Wolverine. I'm going tonight for the first time. Going to see it at least one more time before next week's show. Mac, you're seeing it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Carlos?
I'm looking at this so
I got a busy weekend. I can't make any room for it. So
it's going to be fun. That's right. And be sure to hang out with Carlos and me again on Saturday at Revisiting the Mania, where we're going to talk about WrestleMania 30 or XXX, as they labeled it.
yeah, I had to change the title just in case I get flagged by YouTube for putting 3 X's in a row.
I think you'll be fine. But thanks for hanging out at RPAD TV. We will see you next time. Bye, guys.
See y'all later.